Some people did not grow up being children. They grew up being the responsible one. The one who stayed calm. The one who understood too much. The one who learned very early how not to make things harder for anyone else. While other children were still learning how to be free, you may have been learning how to be careful. Careful with your tone. Careful with your needs. Careful with other people's emotions. And if that was your role growing up, it may still be shaping the way your mind works today. Because when responsibility arrives too early, it usually does not stay in childhood. It becomes part of how you move through the world, part of how you relate to people, part of what you quietly expect from yourself. Maybe you were the child who tried not to cause problems. The one who stayed quiet when the atmosphere felt tense. The one who noticed small changes in mood, tone, and silence. You learned to read the room. You noticed what others were feeling, even when nothing was being said directly. And somewhere along the way, you may have started to feel that keeping things stable was, in some unspoken way, your responsibility. Not always in obvious ways. Sometimes it looked like being mature for your age. Sometimes it looked like being helpful. Sometimes it looked like knowing when not to ask for too much. And because of that, responsibility slowly stopped being something you did and started becoming part of who you were. That is where this pattern goes deeper, because what looked like maturity was often adaptation. A nervous system learning to stay alert. A mind learning to scan for tension. A child learning that being easy, useful, or emotionally aware made the environment feel safer. So, your awareness became sharp. You became good at noticing subtle changes, good at anticipating reactions, good at sensing what might go wrong before it happened. From the outside, this can look like strength, and sometimes it is strength, but it can also feel like never fully relaxing, like a part of you is always monitoring the emotional temperature of the room, always adjusting, always preparing. Even long after childhood is over. And this often continues into adult life in quiet ways. You may find it hard to ask for help, not because you do not need it, but because needing too much may still feel uncomfortable somewhere deep inside. You may be more at ease supporting others than being supported yourself. You may carry things alone for longer than necessary. You may explain away your own exhaustion. You may feel guilty when you rest. As if stepping back means something important will be neglected. Even when no real danger is present, your system may still respond as if responsibility must remain in your hands. That is why being the responsible one can become so confusing in adulthood. Because many of the qualities it creates are genuinely valued, you become capable, thoughtful, reliable, emotionally perceptive. People trust you. People depend on you. And often, you become the person who can hold a lot. But beneath that competence, there is sometimes a quieter truth. Sometimes, the responsible child became an adult who never fully learned what it feels like to be held without earning it. To rest without guilt. To need something without immediately minimizing that need. To let someone else carry part of the weight. And recognizing this is not about blaming the past. It is about seeing the pattern clearly. Because once you understand that this role was learned, you begin to realize it is not the whole of who you are. The child in you may have learned that safety came from being composed, useful, and self-controlled. But the adult in you can slowly learn something else. That not everything depends on you. That care does not always have to be earned through usefulness. And that rest is not failure. Sometimes the people who seem strongest are simply the ones who learned too early that someone had to hold everything together. And sometimes healing begins when that burden is finally seen for what it was. Not proof of who you were meant to be forever, only proof of what you learned to survive. If this feels familiar, you're not alone in this experience. Many people quietly carry the identity of being the responsible one. And sometimes, simply recognizing that role is the first moment it begins to feel a little lighter.